Hey guys, it's Len at Lion Strong Athletics. If you're like me, you've always wanted a bigger chest. Chest hypertrophy and chest growth is the cornerstone for a great looking body. The truth is, I wasn't doing chest right for years. I listened to the experts, I listened to my teachers at university on how you should train the chest right. And it didn't work for me at all. It left me with really nice big shoulders, but not so much a chest. So I'd love to go over some of the mistakes I made and how you can make sure you don't fall into that same trap. I'm going to go over the top 4 exercises that I think are best for hypertrophy. Before we get into it, go hit like and subscribe so you can stay up to date on our most recent videos. Getting into these exercises, I have picked 4 exercises that are my favorites and what I think is most effective for hypertrophy or muscle growth of the chest. I picked 2 compound exercises, those are pressing exercises, and 2 isolation exercises, those are fly-based exercises. We're going to get into the technique of each one of those, as well as why I think it's the most effective exercise. The first exercise we're going to get into is an isolation exercise, and I guess it's technically a fly as well. It's so important because it targets our upper chest, which is lacking in me, which is lacking in a lot of people. What exercise we're going to do is a pullover. This is traditionally done with a dumbbell, but today I'm going to show you my favorite version, which is a cable pullover. The cable, I think, is a little bit more effective than a dumbbell because it keeps constant tension longer and has a greater range of motion under tension, which I think results in more muscle growth. So let's get into the technique and I'll show you how to do it. The pullover is an interesting exercise because it involves our lats just as much as it involves our chest. When we reach over our head like this, my lats are stretching, but so is my upper chest. And how we can really get this to be a chest exercise is with our brains. We have to try to contract our upper chest first to move the weight to make sure our lats don't get involved. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I've set up the cable and an incline bench. I like using a V-bar. You don't have to, but I think it's the best for chest development. We're going to grab the weight off, so now I'm under tension. And what I'm going to do here is try to contract and squeeze my chest first. Squeeze, and then move the weight down until I find the biggest squeeze that I can in my upper chest. So right now my upper chest is squeezed. It's under tension, trying to pull me back. I'm going to release again. Squeeze upper chest, move. Release. Squeeze upper chest, move, release. And as long as I squeeze that upper chest first, my lats aren't involved at all. And I feel my upper chest doing all the work. Now, this is such a valuable exercise for hypertrophy because there are not a whole lot of exercises that just target your upper chest alone. It's very easy to have your shoulders involved in upper chest movements, in upper fly movements as well. But a pullover, having our arms go backwards and stretch just that top portion of our chest, is really important for muscle development and the best bang for your buck for upper chest growth. Let's get into the second movement. It's another isolation one. In this one, I've chosen a flat dumbbell fly. And I picked this based off of Arnold himself. He used to do this exercise all the time, and he's got the best chest ever, so obviously it works. But let's walk through how he did it and how I want you to do it. So first thing, grab some 15s. That's a decent weight for myself for what I'm accomplishing for this. I might use 20-25s, but we'll keep it light while I'm explaining. So you're going to kick back, and I really want you to focus on pinning your upper back to the bench as much as possible. And the key on this and why it's so successful is we get our pecs into a real big stretch. And the key off of this is now trying to get out of this stretch without using our shoulders and by using our chest. So how we accomplish this, and a lot of you will be very good at it, some people not so much, is we need to flex our chest just like this. So at the bottom of the movement, while I'm stretched, I'm going to try to flex and then move my chest to accomplish this movement. If you just move your arms, your shoulders are going to do a lot of the work. Okay? So popping down, I'm going to get my chest as the highest point. I'm going to go into this nice deep stretch. I'm going to contract my chest like that and then drive the weight up and keep squeezing. And then I release down. Big stretch, contract my chest and drive up. When it comes to hypertrophy, which is muscle size, it's so important to flex and squeeze whatever muscle you want to do the work first. Okay? So at the bottom, flexing that chest is going to make the chest work. If I flex my shoulders will do the work. So we want to make sure we're flexing our chest. Now, another thing to go over, and if you watch Arnold do this, he nailed it perfectly. He never brings that weight up past about here. Because anytime you're working dumbbells and we bring it inside of our shoulders, we actually lose tension on our chest. And you can squeeze the muscle, but you're not squeezing under tension. So the best way to do this exercise is to go for a big stretch, contract, and I'm squeezing just up to here. And then back down in it. And that way we keep constant tension. Now, if it hurts you to go deep, you're going too heavy. You're putting too much stress on your tendons and your shoulders, and you need to lighten it up and just focus on the squeeze. And if you can hit a contraction and make your chest do the work, that's going to lead to great size. Moving on into exercise 3 and our first of our compound exercises. So press exercising. And I've chose a standard chest press machine. The reason why chest press machines are so effective is we don't have to worry about the balancing aspect of dumbbells or barbells, and we can focus solely on the chest. This is why bodybuilders use machines so much. When you don't have to worry about balancing, you can get greater growth. Okay? So getting into this exercise, one thing I really want to make known is one of the reasons why I feel so poorly about my own chest development over the last maybe 10 years or so is that all my professors and all these exercise science guys that I learned from all told me, hey, if you want to build your chest properly, you have to make sure your elbows are down at 45 degrees because it's safe for your shoulder. Well, guess what? It's not the best for growing your chest. And it's one of the reasons why I have pretty decent shoulders and I'm lacking in chest. Especially with a machine, we can target our chest and isolate it more for a press. And we do that by flaring our elbows up high. What I recommend is even as high as 90 degrees and then drop that down just a little bit because that's still a comfortable position without risking too much. You're very unlikely that you're going to get hurt on this machine unless you're going super heavy, which you wouldn't want to do anyways. So flare those elbows up. It's going to turn your chest on more, and it's going to turn your shoulders off a little bit. Okay? So when you go to press, I'm still trying to pinch my back and push my chest out so it's the furthest point. I'm going to flare my elbows up. And chest press machines are all different, right? But when you push out, you want to just make sure that you keep tension. What that means here, I have a little bit of a bend in my elbow. I want to make sure that I don't lock out. Because once I lock out, my chest is actually relaxed right now. And we don't want that. We want constant tension. So I want to keep a little bit of force going through my chest by keeping my elbows unlocked. Okay? Bringing that down nice and wide into a stretch. Just my chest is stretched here. If I go down into that 45 degrees, it does a lot of work through my anterior deltoids. So to avoid that, keep those up high. If your chest machine also goes in, like mine, I want you to add that because the chest is not just responsible for pushing things away from you, but also moving things towards your midline. So that's how we can make this exercise even better. Now, most chest press machines are not like this. They're on a fixed path, and that's all right. I just want you to follow where you can maintain constant tension and you can focus on just the chest doing the work. The last exercise that is my favorite is the Smith Machine Guillotine Press. The reason I like this so much is we can really target our upper chest right by the clavicle in a pressing motion without our shoulders doing a whole bunch of work. Because we're using a Smith machine, we don't have that balance factor again, so our shoulders can kind of stay out of it. I can just focus on my chest, pressing and doing the work for me, and that's what we want when it comes to size. Okay, so popping down in this, I've already set this up the way that I like it, which is 45-ish degrees, and I've set up this bar so it's going to come right down to my chin. It's going to seem a little bit high, but if I have my elbows flared out, I am really targeting that upper chest. Okay, so I'm going to take this off the rack here. I'm going to bring that weight down to my upper chest right there at my chin, contract my upper chest, and press up and back down. Push. Push. Now you might notice I'm only going halfway up. The reason I'm doing that is the bottom half is where I feel the most of my upper chest working. And if I keep going up past this, I feel like I get too much shoulder and too much tricep. So I'm going to stay in the zone where I feel upper chest the most, which is here, all the way down. And that is such an effective exercise. Right now, I just feel that upper strand right by my clavicle has done the work for me. And now I can focus on building a bigger upper chest, which is where the majority of us are short. Well, there you have it. Those are my 4 favorite chest exercises for muscle growth. Now, I hope you learned a lot today. And if you like this video, hit the like and subscribe button and leave me a comment and let me know if I got it wrong. Maybe there's an exercise that you think is better. Well, let me know about it and let me know why.